Service workers staged protests across the nation today to demand higher wages. Annenberg Media joined one gathering here in Los Angeles.
Trump has fired off on Twitter again, this time against the burning of the American flag. We checked out the validity of the suggested punishment.
And a country is in mourning after a deadly plane crash in South America. Hear how Brazilians are reacting to the tragedy.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Workers crowded LAX as they voiced their opposition to national wages, and members of the Service Employees International Union took to the streets of cities across the country today as part of the National Fight for 15 campaign. Good evening, I'm Aaron Hendel.
And I'm Brittany Hope. Higher wages are already on their way to California, but that didn't stop workers from bringing the fight to Los Angeles. Annenberg Media's Kaylee Heck joined protesters at Los Angeles International Airport today to hear why they're demanding a higher minimum wage.
I said, who said part?
Close to 1,000 protesters marched outside LAX this afternoon to bring the Fight for 15 to the airport.
We're going to fight for $15 an hour. The workers deserve to have jobs so that they can take care of themselves and their families.
Union workers took to the streets and the terminals to demand higher wages, more benefits, and better workers' rights. LAPD worked with airport police and other agencies to keep the area safe.
Honestly, these are really working folks. And you know what? Most cops are going to be working folks too. We totally understand having working issues. We're here actually to make sure that their voice is heard.
Union leader Lillian Cabral says California's move to give workers $15 an hour by 2021 is a step in the right direction.
We can't go backwards. We can only go forwards. And if we have to fight to get there, that's why we're here.
A 2014 report from the Congressional Budget Office says that if the national minimum wage increased from $7.25 to just $10.10 an hour, some families would be out of poverty. But it would be at the expense of 500,000 jobs.
Now, many people here at today's protest already make $15 an hour, but they say they are here for those that don't.
I have my 15, but I'm out there for them who deserve the 15, who deserve to get off the welfare lines, who deserve to get a job in order to pay for the things they need to pay for.
Workers from the airport, fast food restaurants, and garment factories were all at today's protest. For Annenberg Media, I'm Kaylee Heck.
University leaders in California are urging President-elect Trump to continue protections for undocumented students in the United States. The university officials sent a joint letter expressing their concerns about the thousands of students in the federal DACA program. They wrote, quote, "They should be able to pursue their dream of higher education without fear of being arrested, deported, or rounded up for just trying to learn." Students and faculty at USC recently created a petition asking the university to declare itself a sanctuary campus. One undocumented student says she feels the lack of response to the petition, and now the letter is frustrating.
A lot of universities around California responded positively after this. They were like, yeah, we're willing to support you regardless of what happens, but we didn't hear anything from USC. If we were in need of legal support, would USC help us? How would they guide us? How would they provide that safety? Because we are students, and I personally am undocumented and I have DACA, but I don't feel like I necessarily have any kind of safety with that at the moment, because we don't know what's going to happen when he comes into presidency.
Under DACA, which stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, children of undocumented immigrants are protected from deportation. High school students and anyone who served in the military are eligible as long as they move to the U.S. before age 16. They also must have lived here for at least 5 continuous years since 2007. The application fee is $465 and must be renewed every 3 years. A third of individuals protected by DACA live in California, and 108,000 of them attend California public universities or community colleges.
President-elect Donald Trump took to Twitter to criticize anyone who burns the American flag. The Supreme Court ruled 26 years ago that burning the flag is a form of symbolic speech and is protected by the First Amendment. Trump tweeted, quote, Nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or a year in jail. Now, this is just one of a number of tweets that have come into conflict with the First Amendment, including this tweet here that reads, quote, "Perhaps a new meeting will be set up with the New York Times. In the meantime, they continue to cover me inaccurately and with a nasty tone." And in a final tweet regarding the cast of Hamilton's reaction to Mike Pence in the audience, he quoted, "The theater must always be a safe and special place. The cast of Hamilton was very rude last night to a very good man, Mike Pence. Apologize." And today's tweet reads, a quote from Senator John McCain.
Close decision on by the United States Supreme Court. I do not approve of burning the flag. I think there should be some punishment, but right now the Supreme Court decision is that people are free to express themselves that way. But I do not approve of it, and I think there's other ways for people to express their views rather than burn a flag that so many Americans fought and died for.
First Amendment lawyer Susan Seeger says it is unlikely flag-burning cases can be overturned, but Trump can do other things to impact free speech, primarily the media's.
I think will be him continuing to criticize the press in his tweets, which could have a chilling effect on reporters who are trying to get access to the president, get press credentials. That's sort of an unseen impact that is likely. I think President-elect Trump could be very aggressive in going after whistleblowers and reporters who report leaks from government whistleblowers.
In the past, Donald Trump has also said he would consider changing libel laws to make it easier to sue media organizations.
The Trump transition team continues to assemble the leaders of the next administration. Our political anchor, Allie Main, has more on the president-elect's latest cabinet picks. Allie?
Thanks, Aaron. Tonight, President-elect Donald Trump dines with former Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney. This is the second time the two have met since the election. It comes amid rumblings in the Republican Party, both in favor of and opposed to the possibility of Trump selecting Romney to serve as Secretary of State. The president-elect added experience to his cabinet today by picking Elaine Chao for Transportation Secretary. Chao previously served as the Secretary of Labor under former President George W. Bush and Deputy Transportation Secretary under former President George H.W. Bush. She's married to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Former Goldman Sachs executive Steven Mnuchin is expected to be named Treasury Secretary as soon as tomorrow. This is the first economic policy decision that has come out of the Trump transition team. Mnuchin was Trump's campaign finance chairman and has also worked as a Hollywood film producer. Experts in the fields of politics, journalism, and academia met today at USC to speak about the implications of the 2016 election. Washington Post reporter Robert Costa offered some insight into why so many voters turned to Donald Trump.
It was just striking how many of the traditional Democratic moderate areas were for Trump, not because they particularly liked Trump, because Trump somehow, in spite of all of his mistakes and stumbles, connected with them as this change agent against the forces of globalization and the disappointments provided by Washington.
For more of our political coverage, go to uscannenbergmedia.com. Back to you, Aaron.
Colombian aviation authorities have lowered the death toll for a plane crash involving members of a Brazilian soccer team to 71. Just 6 of the passengers survived, and they all have serious illnesses. The players and coaches of the Chapecoense soccer team were on their way to a tournament in Colombia. 21 journalists were also on board, but only 1 survived. Investigators have not yet determined why the plane crashed, but 2 data recorders were found in perfect condition. One USC student from Brazil says the incident shocked him and his fellow soccer fans.
Everyone's pretty terrified right now. People don't really know, they try to understand what happened. Well, if you see Facebook, everyone's putting a new filter for the team, and everyone's switching their profile picture, so it's it's the first reaction. They're a really charismatic team. Everyone loves that team. They're everyone's second team, and they're gonna play the final of a big South American competition. So everyone in Brazil was hoping they would win, and then everyone else got by surprise.
Athletes from around the world turned to social media to express their condolences for the team using the hashtag #ForçaChapa. Hockey player Zach Boychuk from the KHL tweeted, "Thinking of you at Chapecoense Real, #ForçaChape." The English Football League tweeted, Thinking of you at Chapecoense Real, #ForceShop.
Still ahead, Annenberg Media caught up with the tractor trailer passing through LA carrying a special message about food and hunger.
With the busiest holiday shopping weekend of the year behind us, one foundation on campus is hoping to rile up support on Giving Tuesday.
And the conviction of a former NFL star has renewed the conversation around sports and sexual assault. Stick with us for more after the break.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
A big rig is touring the country to raise awareness about food insecurity and hunger issues across the United States. Los Angeles is the first stop of the 10-month tour. This is Hunger is an interactive community project organized by Mazone, a national anti-hunger organization. The truck showcases pictures and voices of people who have a difficult time getting enough food in their everyday life. Visitors were asked to make a meal plan for a child, spending less than $1.40. Some found the activity challenging.
Mine was actually overshot, which I was in shock because it then came out to like $2.77, and it said that it was too high. I had to go lower, which is insane, like crazy to me.
I'm just kind of doing it on paper. It's not really affecting my real life, but I could see for someone who struggles with these kind of things how difficult it would make just day-to-day living.
Mia Hubbard of Mazone says there are myths of hunger. Many people don't realize it exists in the U.S.
Certainly, our hunger in this country, we're a country of great wealth, does not look like hunger in, say, a developing nation. So, it's an issue that's really hidden, and part of our challenge is to bring it out of hiding and to help people understand that anyone and everyone could potentially be hungry who are around you.
Mazone says there are more than 42 million people living in hunger and relying on food assistance programs. The organization says it hopes to get more people to understand the problem.
Some faculty are concerned about USC Muslim students after yesterday's attack at Ohio State University. Law enforcement says Abdul Razak Artan wrote an anti-American post on Facebook right before he drove into a crowd and stabbed 2 students. He said he was, quote, sick and tired of seeing his Muslim brothers and sisters being killed and tortured.
Certainly we have a heightened concern for the well-being of our Muslim students. We know that this is a very difficult time for them. We just know it's on the minds and the hearts of our students, and that's what matters. It's like it's their experience of this that their concerns matter to us a lot, and quite apart from incidents that happen. There's just the mood and the feeling, the emotional feelings that people have about this. That's a very big deal.
Some USC students who practice non-Western religions say they're trying to take positive steps to address prejudice.
I have been called names, told to go back to my country, but when I get those kind of responses, I smile a little bit because it just means that I have more work to do in terms of the knowledge spreading, the educational aspect, showing, I too am a human being at the core, and on top of that, my religion allows me to work for the betterment of the community, and that's it, period.
And we want to remind everybody that hate crimes are not tolerated on campus and should be reported to USC's Department of Public Safety.
Xenophobia. Don't know what that is? Well, it's time to look it up because it's been named Dictionary.com's Word of the Year for 2016. We spoke to students on campus to get their reaction to the now famous word.
It would make sense because of all the stuff that happened this year all over the world. The elections, the vote, Brexit, I don't know. It's kind of a common theme everywhere.
Appropriate, I guess, considering like all of the tension and angst and anger that's going on.
I feel like they should have chosen a better word.
I don't like that word because I'm a cultural guy. We go to a very, cultural school with a lot of diversity.
The site says the biggest spike in searches for the word came one day after the Brexit referendum was passed. The word was chosen for embodying a major theme in the cultural consciousness over the last 12 months. You know, Aaron, for the first time, it actually starts to feel like winter.
You think any of that white stuff from the sky might come down here in LA? Rachel Ramos, what's going on?
Good evening, everyone. We saw some rain over the weekend, but the Santa Ana winds are picking up again, making for dry, windy conditions. We also have the return of La Nina, which happens every 3 to 5 years, which can mean less precipitation than normal for this time of year. Currently, it is 59 degrees out with 55% humidity. Let's take a look at our Inland Empire area now. A storm last night brought some snow and chilly air to our local mountains. Big Bear is looking at 48 degrees. And the great thing is about living in SoCal is you can go to the snow and then hit the surf all in one day. The waves will be small the next few days in the 2 to 3 feet range in Malibu with temperatures at 67 degrees. So if you're feeling adventurous, maybe hit the slopes and the surf. But for us here at USC, it will be a nice cool 67 degrees with 66 at LAX. Now let's take a look at our 5-day. We are seeing some cooler temperatures across the board in the mid 60s and especially cooler at night with lows in the 40s. Friday is going to be very windy, so if you have any Christmas decorations outside, you may want to tie them down or bring them inside. So guys, it's getting cooler. We're seeing some snow in the mountains. Would you guys ever snowboard and surf all in one day?
If I could snowboard, I would. Let's just say that.
And it's funny that you bring that up, Rachel. Actually, my friends and I went to the beach on a Friday last year and then skiing at Big Bear the following Saturday, but I've never done twice in the same day. I'll have to try it. Thanks so much. The Grammy Awards are expected to return to New York City in 2018, leaving Los Angeles for the first time in over a decade. But what could this mean for LA? A 2014 study from LA economist Roy Weinstein found that the Grammys have produced about $82 million in revenue for LA County. Brittany, fall sports are coming to a close at the end of their seasons.
You know, that's right, and the Trojans are competing for spots in national championship games. Let's toss it to our sports anchor, Jeff Dubroff.
Thank you, guys. USC has plenty of teams vying for a national championship, and it all starts with the red-hot water polo team when they play in the national semifinals on Saturday. The Pac-12 announced their yearly awards, and many Trojans received those honors. And finally, the USC women's soccer team is in the Final Four. We have all of this and more when we return.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Congo.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to ATVN. Today, the Pac-12 announced their yearly conference awards along with their all Pac-12 teams, and a handful of Trojan players made the cut. Most notably, junior cornerback Adoree Jackson was named the Pat Tillman Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. Quarterback Sam Darnold was named the Pac-12 Offensive Freshman of the Year, and offensive lineman Zach Banner and Chad Wheeler made the all Pac-12 first team. The Pac-12 championship game will be this Friday, and the Trojans, well, will be watching from home. They will be watching closely, however, as this game could determine the bowl in which USC plays. There are multiple scenarios based on the outcome of the game this Friday, but here are the top two. If Washington defeats Colorado, USC should be playing for the Rose Bowl against the winner of the Big Ten. However, if mayhem occurs and Colorado wins, the Trojans will most likely end up in the Alamo Bowl. Nothing is set in stone yet, but the Trojans will know their postseason fate this Sunday when the college football playoff rankings are released. The USC women's soccer team is having the season of a lifetime, and the dream of winning a championship is in sight when they play Georgetown in the Final Four this Friday.
As a senior, it is very special just because, I couldn't have asked for it better last year. Honestly, going to the Final Four, just what everybody dreams of, it's awesome. I heard Georgetown is good. I believe that they're good. I feel like they're going to play great soccer, so I'm looking forward to it.
If USC defeats Georgetown this weekend, they will face either North Carolina or West Virginia for the national championship on Sunday. There might not be a hotter team in all of college sports than the USC men's water polo team. After taking over the top spot in the country and winning the MPSF tournament, the Trojans are on a 15-game winning streak going into the NCAA tournament semifinal.
Right now, the way the tournament pans out, we're going to play the winner of Cal or UCLA. So in preparation for both of those teams, we're kind of preparing for both UCLA and Cal. I think it's all going to come down to whatever team has better defense, I would say. I mean, these championships are won, especially in the past. They're won like games like 6-5, 5-3. So definitely the team that's going to have the best defense.
As the top seed in the tourney, the Trojans will face either UC Davis or Harvard in the semifinal game this Saturday. Former NFL player Darren Sharper was sentenced to 20 years in prison today after judges found Sharper guilty for drugging and sexually abusing 2 women in the Los Angeles area. Sharper was arrested in January 2014 by Los Angeles officials. After his arrest, many more women came out claiming Sharper had drugged and sexually abused them as well. The former New Orleans Saint and 5-time Pro Bowler was convicted of drugging and raping 9 women in Los Angeles, Nevada, Arizona, and Louisiana. Sharper's sentencing in LA effectively ends the dozens of cases of sexual assault against him that date back to September of 2013. It's really sad. 5-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, and it's appalling, isn't it?
It really is, but justice was served. I think he got the sentence that he deserved, and it's just a shame. It keeps happening.
And you said it perfectly, Brittany. Finally, some closure for all those victims. Jeff, great job as always. Thanks so much. Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and even Cyber Monday have come and gone. We caught up with the USC Showa Foundation as they celebrate Giving Tuesday.
And join us in looking back on a semester of the best coverage on ATVN.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Today is the 5th annual Giving Tuesday. The social media campaign aims to get people into the holiday spirit by giving money to charities. USC's Shoah Foundation is using the opportunity to gain support for its visual history vault through its #BeginsWithMe campaign.
Begins With Me was something we started about a couple years ago, and this is kind of our social media campaigns. This is how we hope to get other people involved in what we do. Education begins with me, tolerance begins with me, civility begins with me, civic education begins with me. So we hope that through this hashtag, people, watch our testimonies and then become inspired to really make a positive difference in their communities.
The foundation asks people from around the country to post pictures on social media describing who they are and why they support the foundation's mission to share testimonials of genocide survivors. Shoah reminds people that along with money, time, and good deeds are also great donations.
Well, guys, it's been a great and exciting semester, and it's coming to a close.
Tonight, we look back at some of the most memorable moments.
A teenager charged with the murder of a USC grad student is found guilty.
The 18-year-old was the first of 4 defendants on trial for the murder of Jinran Ji.
We've been waiting for this result for 2 years already.
In 2016, there have been 34 reported rapes at USC and around campus. But some students never report sexual assaults and feel like the university could do more.
I'm here at the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where earlier today, Donald Trump's star was vandalized.
Trump says his leaked comments about women were, quote, locker room talk.
Just talking crap about each other about practice, that's pretty much locker room talk.
With just 1 week left, the candidates are out on the campaign trail.
How do you plan to appeal to voters here to go Green Party rather than the typical Democratic Party?
Well, I think you just have to look at the track record.
Happy Halloween and vote yes on Measure M.
Live right now in Norwalk at the LA County Registrar's Office. Now that polls have closed, this is ground zero for ballot processing and getting the election results out.
Donald Trump has beaten the odds and become the 45th president of the United States.
I want a good future for my wife. I want a good future for my future children. I want a future, baby.
At this point, most Hillary Clinton supporters here in downtown Los Angeles have stopped believing.
Trump is not my president.
About 1,000 high school students across LA walked out of class today.
A group of people is gathering to protest Donald Trump and his election.
It's finally move-in day for students who signed a lease with Element. Coming up, you're going to get a first look at what these apartments look like.
Students can come by this makeshift tent city to see what it's like to live on the streets.
USC football hits the road once again this week, but with a different starting quarterback.
You're off to one of the better starts for a freshman in USC football history. What's that mean to you?
It's obviously, it's a big deal to me, but at the same time, you can't focus on that kind of stuff throughout the season.
ESPN's College Game Day is heading up to Seattle with USC this weekend in Jackson. Looks like we have some game day fans of our own.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. For everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Aaron Hendel.
And I'm Brittany Hope. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night. Good job. High five.